Coach, thank you very much for doing this. First of all, I observed you go through the routine with the players and all that. You train for what, close to 3 hours. Is that typical of your routines?
Not, it is not. But then today is midweek. So per our approach, we started from a low intensity to a medium intensity. So if you look at the cycle of training, we are in the middle of the week. So we need to load them so that as we get closer to the match, we try to taper, try to calm down. So it was basically an extensive training and it was in phases. It was a tactical work. We needed to make sure that each phase within the tactical process was very consolidated. What we wanted to see, what we wanted them to do, we saw them because we had already engaged them in a video session. So an animation supported by a video of the particular movement. So we wanted to see that because we believe that they are very intelligent and they have the competence to be able to do it. So that was why it took us some time. But then if you also realize we did a lot of freezing, we stopped the training if there was a moment where we thought that it was not correct. We stopped it to make sure that the right thing was done. Again, we also stopped to make sure that we praise them because it's not always about correcting them. Sometimes you need to also applaud them for doing the right thing. And you know, they are so intelligent that they are able to improvise. So sometimes what we even told them, they didn't do it, but then they improvise, they connect or they combine, and then we get what we want. So that was why it was an extensive session.
I came here many years ago. I can't remember, to be honest with you. And I used to watch House of Folk training and that sort of thing. And the thing that amazes me is how the whole system has changed. So this is not just you and an assistant coach or a goalkeeper's trainer. I see two video analysts. I see the guy who is doing your YouTube for you. I see somebody who's working on set PCs. I see how much has coaching changed over the last few years, and how much work do you have to put in these days?
It has changed a lot because there are so many compartments or components within the game. The analysts will give you videos or will tell you things that you think are the strengths and weaknesses of your own team and the strengths and the weaknesses of the opponent. So based on our strengths and weaknesses, we try to train to improve upon the weaknesses and then try to consolidate that of the strength. Similarly, if we get any intel about the opponent, about their weaknesses, we try to do a tactical rehearsal about that so that should we go and it happens as we have been told, we take advantage of that and then punish them. And then we try also to make sure that we nullify the strength of the opponent. So that's why you see the video guys around. They are two and they are doing a good job. Normally in tactical training phases, you see that some of the players will be waiting and we have what we call time on task. Time on task. We need to make sure that we make good use of them. So we have what we call the adaptation group. So those who are not part of the main session, we try to create something for them to get them active so that when it is their turn to come and fit into the tactical session, when they come in terms of their temperature, they are already there to be able to do what you want. So that was why you saw one of the assistants also with them on the other side trying to do some goal scoring, passing goal scoring drills. And then you saw one of the assistants too on the other side. So we stood that way just to make sure that we have independent opinions. So sometimes you cross forward to come to me to tell me what he has observed. But I do a lot of cooperative coaching where my assistants can stand anywhere and also freeze the game and do the correction. It's not only about me, it's about the team. So at the beginning of every season, I tell the players this, that it's not only me who can talk, all my assistants can also talk. So everywhere I've coached, that has been my style, the cooperative coaching style. And then coaching has changed a lot because if you look at the trends, the modern trends in coaching, you need a lot of people on board, a lot of ideas. You need people who make sure that the players are physically fit. So we have the fitness coach, then we have, goal scoring coaches, we have defending or defenders coaches. All these people and the rest that I'm yet to mention, all these people come together to complement the work of the head coach. So all that you, the head coach, you have to be is to make sure that you get the right people, the knowledge base is there, the competence is there in terms of their ability to execute. And then you need people who are very loyal, very insightful, and very honest. I mean, they can tell you that, coach, this is wrong and this is right. And sometimes it becomes difficult even for you, the head coach, to pick 1 out of 3 players who are at the same level for a game. And when you have people who are honest around you, they try to help you in taking the right decision.
I remember you spent some time in Cape Coast. Then they played one game in the season. Then you had to rest this weekend. How good was the Cape Coast getaway in getting you ready for the season?
Very good. I was excited. We spent close to 3 weeks in Cape Coast, which was very good. First, we had to settle down in terms of adaptation because it was a different environment. We had a nice hotel. I mean, the food was good. Everything was fine there. And then straight away, because we started from here, we knew where we were going to. So for the 3 weeks that were there, we tried to do every phase of the pyramid of training: the physical component, the technical component, the tactical component, the theoretical component. We did them a lot. We made sure that we took them to what I would call the lecture theater, the conference room, to tell them what we wanted, how we want them to play. You see, this man once said something, Clemens Westerhoff, when he was with Nigeria, was it the Olympic team? He won the Olympic gold medal. He was asked that how did he manage the team to play the way they played? And he said he dreamt of how he wanted the team to play. So based on that, he selected the players who suit into his style of play. So what I'm trying to let you understand is that we have a picture of how we want to play, and we painted this picture to the players verbally and then through videos. We painted it to them for them to understand how our structure should be defensively and how our structure should be offensively. So we have a structure or a framework which we need to operate. So within the structure, there are guidelines or principles within the structure. When we have the ball, there are guidelines or principles that they need to follow. And then when we don't have the ball, there are guidelines or principles that they need to follow. So this is the picture we have painted through video sessions and through training. So as we keep doing it, we are hoping and praying that with time it becomes automatic, it becomes motoric. They should be able to do it without thinking about it. So going to Cape Coast, the 3 weeks give us the opportunity to practice all these things that I've just described. And I think it was worth it going to Cape Coast. We had fun. We had a lot of, good interactions. The new players and the old players trying to interact with each other, to get to know each other, so that socially, emotionally, physically, they can give each other the needed support to settle into the team as a person and to settle into a team as a very good player.
So you spend that much time there as a coach and a technical team. At what point do you begin to feel like, that preseason training is beginning to tell the impact it's on? Because first week of games, second, third week, when do you begin to realize that?
I think from the 4th, 5th week going, depending on the quality of the players and depending on how much has been put into the preseason, you'll be able to sometimes even the 3rd game you begin to see it. But then I'm giving myself the 5th week because I think that we need to take it gradual, step by step, to make sure that they are able to do the right things. So I believe that from the 5th week going, we should be able to get into the flow zone, because currently I think we have a lot of balance, we have a lot of stability in the team, and this balance and stability is also complemented with a lot of creativity in the team. So once you have balance in your team, the team is stable, and players can think out of the box. Out of the box means players can think out of the game model, improvise and do certain things to make sure that we stay well structured offensively and defensively and get the results. I think that's the best thing. So at the moment, I think that is good for us.
What's your big target this season? What would represent success for you for Asante Kotoko this time?
I think it's about two things. As traditionally or typically of Asante Kotoko, it's all about winning. Even if you don't play well, they want you to win. But I think that we need to also ensure that we give them a lot of fun by playing good, attractive, appealing football. So I'm looking at the performance component and the result component. So I've been telling them that they need to play. I mean, we need to be confident with and without the ball and express ourselves on the field. So I want the situation, or we are training them in a way that even on a bad day, if you have the eyes to watch very good football, you can tell that, oh, these boys did well. Probably they were not lucky. So I want the team to play well, very exciting, appealing, attractive football, and at the same time to be able to win. Because the ultimate, if you could Kumasi Asante Kotoko, is to win games and eventually win championships or trophies.
I was remarking to the driver, the team driver,
Baba,
how it was curious to me that even this far out from the city center, there are still people who come to the training grounds to watch your team train every day. You understand what this club means to the people in this city?
A lot, and that's even good for everyone who comes here as a coach, because people come to watch. So if you don't plan, you don't structure your training before you come, and you just come and decide to do anything, I mean, you'll be caught by the fans. Because remember, those who come to watch, they may not be coaches, but they've been watching football over the period. Some are even players, former players. Some are even recreational players, so they understand the game. I mean, there are basic things that, with all due respect, the ordinary fan will be able to tell that this was wrong or this was right. So it tells you, the coach or the coaching staff, that you must always be on your feet. You need to meet as a team, plan your session, look at the different variations within the session, and what can be done to make sure that at the end of the day, the session is interesting. Like you said, I mean, they come all the way from Tafu, far places to come and work. So when they come to your training grounds, you need to make sure that you give them the content that fits the standard and the caliber of Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
Then the worry for somebody like you, the CAF president said this week that nations that do not play games on their own turf cannot develop. And so to sort of localize that example, you are in a city that adores football, and then all of a sudden, primarily by your doing, because you don't have your own facilities and the rest, you still have to travel a considerable distance to Obuasi to go and play. How much of a blow is it for you that you're having to uproot yourself from your traditional home, away from what's normally the base where the fans would have loved? Does that factor in your planning as a coach in any way?
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one in the sense that one, we have the 12th player, which is the fan, and then two, if you look at the way we played at Narerugu against Karela, we played well, we won. So they are all expectant to come and watch the team. So if we were to play in front of our own fans, I think, one, it was going to give us the number 12 player, which is the fan, to give us the confidence to be able to play well and then win. And then even though we are going to Obuasi, I know the typical Kotoko supporter who really loves Kotoko will travel and come to Obuasi. And mind you, or just as a reminder, and I think you know it already, if we go to Obuasi and we do well, still these supporters will travel and come there. They don't care about the distance. Once Kotoko is playing well and Kotoko is winning, wherever you take Kotoko to, our supporters will come. But then if we were to have our own, if we were to play here, or we were to have our own stadium and we were to play there, when it comes to revenue generation, most of the revenue that will be accrued will come to us. But then here is the case that I'm very sure where we are going to, definitely, if we were to play here, would have had more numbers than if playing at.
So I look at you, and then I look at House of Soccer, and then I look at Dreams FC, Accra Lions. I look at a lot of clubs who are having to make adjustments to where they play and all that. Do you worry that these sort of things goes to sort of disrupt a certain flow that the Ghana Premier League wants to build. This is a league that wants to be taken serious. This is a league that competes with other leagues that have supreme facilities, excellent television exposure. Are you worried that this kind of uncertainty drags the Ghana Premier League?
Yes, I think so. I think so because you have to always be on the move. Today, you are on this venue. The next time, you have to go to a different place, maybe because of, the venue not meeting a particular standard. So when it happens that way, it affects, as you said, the flow of the team in terms of adaptation. Because today you are here, the next moment you have to move to a different venue, which is not good. But the more the players play on a particular pitch as their home grounds for a period, it gives them that confidence because they can have a mental picture of how the crowd is going to be at any point in time. So they know how to mentally adjust themselves before they come into the game. But then when you move from one venue to the other, it will take time for them to adapt in terms of the crowd, in terms of the spectating. It will take time for them to adjust. So the moment they begin to settle in, then probably something crops up and they have to move. And don't forget sometimes too, the distance is an issue. And the type of buses that we use in Ghana are not football or sports related buses. The buses, the Madras and what have you use are different from what we use here. The distances, your knee and what have you. So traveling from venue to venue because of issues, you have to change your home grounds. I think it's not the best for our league.
But you want to make the most of the situation, and I saw the intensity of the training, everything that happened. So you want to win the league, but this is also a league that seems to have changed in dynamics a bit. In the past, I would have been building up to a Ghana Premier League season, and my whole focus is on Jones Atikwefio, what he would do with us. And then I focus on what Kotoko would do, and maybe when Samade was there or Afrani and that sort of thing. But now you've got to think of Yema, you've got to factor in the Piana Stars. Summer Techs have built a whole fortress in Summer Boy, through Dr. Sechi and the rest. How much has the Ghana football scene changed? Because I know you started your career when it used to be a two-club system, and all of a sudden everything has completely changed.
Yeah, it has changed because most of the clubs now in the system are owned by individuals who are ready to pump a lot of money into recruitment, into making sure that the welfare of the players are up to standard. Unlike hitherto, where it was only Kotoko and Haas that looked so attractive that everybody wanted to play Kotoko and Haas, even though it is still there. That it looks attractive. But then, if you look at the other clubs like Samantes and Co, they've also tried to make sure that the welfare of the players are catered very well. And as a player, you would always want to make sure that your welfare is paramount. So once these clubs are doing the things that hitherto the Kotoko and the Haas were doing, now they are doing it and probably equaling it. It means that it gives every club equal and known chance of scouting for the same player that Kotoko and Haas hitherto were scouting for. So now you see Kotoko and other clubs chasing a player, and sometimes Kotoko losing out on that player. But previously, the story wasn't like that. Now Kotoko will lose out on that player, and then that club will rather get the player. So I think the structure now in terms of running clubs in Ghana have really changed, and it's also because most of these clubs also have the intent of making sure that they also build a name for themselves. So they go deep down into what is it that Kotoko is doing, what is it that Haas is doing that is making them who they are. So they learn from the structures of these two clubs and also try to make sure they equal it or even do better. So that is why the structure of the Ghana Premier League in terms of its competition and the results have changed.
Yesterday, when I met you up in the airport on Monday, I was telling the guys, you're just taking your suit up and down. And Pipi Suarez was telling me about how he won game in a dinner, you know, when that was hot, proper tropical weather, and you were still in your suit, shirt. Everybody was saying, Coach, won't Coach take off his shoot for a while? Why is that image on the touchline so important?
Very important, as you said, because it tells who I am. I mean, as a coach, you need to.
Who are you
as a coach? As a coach, I am one. I believe in discipline. Discipline is my hallmark. I believe that if you have the best of players, good quality players, and they are not disciplined, you will not get what you want. Because when players are disciplined, they stay focused and they stay determined to make sure that the goals that you have set for the team is achieved. So my number one trump card is discipline, and make sure that everybody goes according to, the team's code of conduct. The what has been established by the team, we all go by it. I also believe that players would have to appear neat, because as you said, by the Ghana instance that you spoke about, I believe that as a coach, I need to build a brand for myself. I have to look good, because that is my office. And if you are going to your office, you look good. When the lawyer is going to his office, he has a particular way of dressing. The medical doctor, the engineer. The engineer will not go to site without a helmet. Something to protect the head. So I also believe that ethically, as a coach, I need to appear in a way that is pleasant and appealing to the outside world. Even sometimes the way you appear can let a parent or a guardian say that, oh, one day I will let my son also become a coach. So our appearance speaks volume of who we are and what we represent. That's why you always see me the way I am here.
Do you this is your code of conduct? In my research for this interview, I'm told that you have a particular fixation with the way players, even though I saw a lot of players who are wearing their locks. How much is it important to you whether players wear locks or they don't wear locks? And do you think that approach is sustainable now?
I think that it's not something that is really like casting iron in terms of, the way people think I see it that way. No, it's not like that. Sometimes it's about the appearance of the player. You see, when players appear good on the field, it gives even their own supporters the confidence in terms of the way they appear on the field. So sometimes, as a coach, you try as much as possible to make sure that players appear good. And appearing good also has something to do with whatever they put on or whatever they wear. So sometimes I try as much as possible to make sure that they look good to meet the level of the club that they are playing.
Right. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about, last season you had quite a tough time. There was a period where you went 10 games without a win. And the suggestion was that if you were not a management member, you may not have survived this. Has being a management member aided or taken away from the job that you do at a club?
I think it was the. I don't think it's because I was a management member. I think that it was the situation that we found ourselves in. That I think other people also understood what was actually going on. That it was a very tough season, very difficult season. We're doing everything possible at the training grounds to make sure that we get the results, but then when we go out there, we're not getting the results. So I don't think it was because I was a management member. I think other major stakeholders were always trooping into the training grounds to see what we were doing, and to them, it was up to standard. So they really didn't understand why we're not getting the results. So when the decision was even taken, I wasn't part of it. I was far away, and I wasn't part of it. So I think that it was out of what we were doing at the training grounds. Like you came and you saw today, if you were to be here for the rest of the week, you see that the training component will change, but all geared towards the game on Sunday. So if you look at the coach doing all these things, then they go and they don't win. And you are here seeing what the coach does with the players. Sometimes you also have to take your time when you are taking the decision. So I think that also actually helped. And I'm sure, I mean, there were a lot of stakeholder engagements, and based on that, the decision was taken.
Right. So you won this club's last league title. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, 2021, 2020.
Yeah. Can you assure them that you will do it again this time? That's all they are looking for.
I mean, it's a new season. It comes with the dynamics are different, the challenges are different, and what have you. So, what I would say is that I think we have to take it game by game, and then as we take it game by game, we'll be able to tell what we have as a club for the season.
One of the things that I found a bit curious about Kotoko, we spoke about the affection for the club in the community. But this affection leads to 3-hour radio programs in these days, non-stop access to social media. First of all, as a coach, in this your code of conduct, how do you deal with the present monster that a lot of managers have to deal with? The time that players spend on this thing, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. How can you, and you are a lecturer as well, so you understand the theoretical dynamics and that sort of thing. How do you, as a modern coach, deal with this very, very complex situation?
It's a very challenging one because the moment they leave the training grounds, they are on their own. I remember they are professional players, so they have the right to do things that will make them happy. And social media, I mean, presence is now key to players nowadays. So basically what I do is that I try to engage them, to appeal to their conscience, to let them understand that it's good to be there, but they need to manage their time, because as a player, you need a lot of time to rest and sleep. You need to rest a lot, you need to sleep a lot, you need to eat well. So what I try to do is to engage them on the positives and the negatives, and try to let them understand that even though they have to be there, they have to make sure that they spend more time sleeping and resting than spending more time there on the social media space. And again, I let them understand that if they are there are certain things that they may read that wouldn't be good for them emotionally. It can stretch them off mentally. So they should try as much as possible to make sure that they reduce the rate at which they go into the social media space.
I'm curious, as I listen to you answer this, what did your lecturing career, how has it influenced your coaching career?
A lot. A lot.
What can be the key ones?
A lot. Because coaching is about teaching, paying attention to the fine details. It is the fine details that makes the difference between an average student and an excellent student. So to me, I try to read a lot. Being a lecturer, I mean, one of the key things of being a lecturer is to make sure that you are updated on the modern trends or the current trends in what you are doing. So because when I was teaching, I read a lot. So when I came into coaching too, I was like, oh, there are so many things out there as a coach that I need to know. So how do I get to know of these things? I need to buy textbooks. Sometimes I have friends in UK, in America, I see textbooks, I tell them to buy it for me. I have to make sure that I go online, the likes of Guardiola, Yesa, Ancelotti. I mean, I need to go online to look at what they do, the Zidane's, what they do there, to also see how some of the things that they do there, I can pick them, modify them to suit the context here and the type of players I have here, their age, their experience. You can't just pick it as it is. When you pick it, you need to modify it. Sometimes you don't even pick it, but then you read it and you have an idea. For instance, the issue of an inverted fullback or an inverted winger. What are the benefits? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? That is it. So, for instance, an inverted fullback, when he comes in and he has possession, you need a player who, when he comes in, will be able to express himself, can pass, can dribble, and then when he loses possession, he shouldn't quickly run and go back to his position. He has to stay there until there's stability, and then gradually he moves back to his natural position. When you read the textbooks and what have you, it will give you an idea, a very insightful, information about what to do. So when you are also coaching your players, you'll be able to tell them what is right and what is wrong, or you'll be able to identify what is right and what is wrong with that movement from the inverted, let's say the fullback or the inverted winger. So I think being a lecturer has actually helped my coaching career. And basically, I would say that I teach more than, I do a lot of teaching. I teach a lot. When you come and you see me, you can see the classroom actually on the field. And I would like to say it's because of my background.
So with this background in mind, who was your biggest influence when you decided to get into coaching?
As at that time?
Yes.
I think it was I was watching who was coaching Ayaz then, 1995, when they won. It was Van Hale.
Yeah.
With
Kanu and Shinidi.
Exactly.
The Dubois brothers and
exactly. And I know the way they were playing at that time. Very total football, trying to take control, especially when they have the ball. So I think as at that time, the Dutch football philosophy actually influenced me, and the team at the limelight at that time within the Dutch football family was Ajax. So I would say that the coach then and the players then influenced the way I coach.
But you mentioned Guardiola like 6 times in this interview, right?
Yes. You're
a big fan.
Yes, a big fan.
That makes 2 of us.
Yes. He believes in possession, total, absolute possession, technically gifted players who have vision and sight. A player with vision only looks at where the action is. A player with sight only looks at where the action is. And a player with vision can see everything that happens on the field.
Yeah.
And he makes sure that he goes for players with a lot of vision. Players who are very creative, players who are very athletic, very composed on the ball. And that's what I want. And his football is very entertaining, very attractive, very appealing. So
where do you stand on, for instance, Ancelotti said that, he's not bound by philosophy. Mourinho has said the same thing. For him, the philosophy is winning. There's a suggestion that people like Xavi, like Guardiola and the rest are engrossed in how the team plays. Where do you stand on that broad philosophical argument?
I think, I don't know why they are saying that, but I think that unconsciously they all have philosophy, because philosophy is the way you think, feel, and believe that your team should play. When you talk of philosophy, that's a basic explanation I can give to you. The way you think, feel, and believe that football should be played.
Yeah.
So defensively, how do you think that if you don't have the ball, your team should position themselves? How do you feel that they should position themselves? How do you believe that they should position themselves? Offensively. So Real Madrid, when they are playing, they have a structure. So that structure tells you that the coach has a way that he thinks, feels, and believes that.
Is it a structure you will stick to regardless of how the results is going? I think maybe I didn't frame my question. Are you beholden to your structure, or you are amenable to change based on the consequences of outcomes?
Exactly. Basically, I believe that from the start there should be a structure. But then as the game unfolds, certain things can pop up. And when those things pop up, players, you have to now let players understand that what is popping up, what is happening within the game, they need to change the way they are doing things on the field. So first, the team must go with a structure. But then as the dynamics of the game dictates, then the players can act in a way that will be of benefit to the team. So if you look at one of the key characteristics of the modern game, and it goes like this: players must improvise with vision and what? Combine. They must improvise with vision and what? Combine. So you have a structure though, but then whilst the game is ongoing, things are not working the way you expected. So these players should be able to improvise. And when they improvise, they should make sure that they are able to connect to teammates to make sure that offensively you are dominating and defensively you are also well stable.
What do you make of the future of Ghana coaching? At a certain point, we used to mock what we said was the recycling of coaches. So you had Osam Dodo, then you had Samade, may his soul rest in perfect peace. Then you had other coaches like Afani and the rest. And these were the key names that always popped up when you were discussing anything relating to the national team. Do you feel like we are in a state where 3, 4, 5 years from now, we will have a larger pool of coaches to pick from? Are we building our coaches right? Are we building a pool that will stand Ghana football in good stead a few years down the line?
I think so. And it can be seen by what the Ghana Football Association is doing by establishing a director of coaching education. So they have a coaching education department within the technical directorate. So we have a director of coaching education, and then we have a lot of instructors out there trying to make sure that they design a curriculum that will help both coaches right from the grassroots, from license D to C to B to A, and then the pro. So to me, the future of coaching in Ghana is bright. Only if those who attend the courses after the course try to stay with what they've gone to learn at the courses. You see, going to a course is one thing, and coming out to practice what you've gone to learn is another thing. What I see is that if you are a coach and you try to stay within your comfort zone, when you come across new information, it becomes very difficult for you to practice it. So if the upcoming coaches and those of us who are already in the system can be open-minded, can have an open and inquiry mind to be able to explore new things that they come across, new things within coaching in the country, I'm sure our future will be very bright, because if we want our football to compete with that of other countries like Egypt, South Africa, Tanzania, and what have you, if you want our club football to compete with them, then what we have to do is to make sure that we, the coaches, are abreast with what is going on out there. We need to learn. We need to read. As a coach, you need to read. You know what I always tell my students when I was teaching at the university? You see the pastor?
Yeah.
The pastor every day will read the Bible. True or false?
True.
The pastor will read the Bible every day. So you
by the daily devotion.
That is the daily devotion, everything. So how come you, a coach, you wake up and the whole day you don't read anything from your coaching manuals? So
it's like a Bible. You seem very dedicated to this.
Yes. It's you have to have the passion. You need to have the passion to be able to do the job. You see, coaching can be associated to pastoral work. It's a calling. If you are really called, the likes of Osam Dudu, the Franis, and what have you, we saw their passion, we saw their dedication, we saw their loyalty. That is it. So if you are passionate about coaching, at every point in time, you'll be nosing around to know what is going on out there. I spend most of my time out there reading. The whole day, I make sure that I read different things. And once I read, I try to make sure that I have a mental picture of what I've read. Sometimes I'll be reading and then I'll be sketching things. So I have a whole folder by myself. So sometimes when I even get up at dawn, I will get up at dawn and something will come to mind. And then I'll just draft it. After that, I try to go and type that thing within the Google space to find out whether something will pop up. So when something pops up, then I try to take my time to read through and then screen which one is the one that meets what I have in mind. And then from there, I move on. So we need to be dedicated in terms of our reading, in terms of our research.
Some say that the dedication of the coaches is one thing. The willingness of Ghanaian clubs to allow their coaches to practice has that improved in any way from what you've seen? You work with a number of Ghanaian clubs. Are Ghanaian clubs, whether it's from the academy level through to whatever Division 2, Division 1, are Ghanaian clubs more receptive to young, strong, dynamic coaches?
I think so, because I think so, but then it depends on you, the coach. Right from the one, I mean, your engagement with the club and then what you intend to do will let whoever are the people behind you as management or board or whatever it is to give you that free hand to do your job. I mean, one, if you are honest and upright, you are on top of your job. I mean, you design your session planning, your sessional plan, and then you execute it. You show it to them, you execute it. I mean, you make sure that you are always engaging them to let them understand what you want to do. Once you do this, I'm sure any management or, I mean, any board will give you that liberty to work. It is when they realize that you yourself, you don't know what you are doing, then they will tell you that if you are a coach, they also know football. They have been following. So you have to convince them that you are on top of your job. Like, for instance, when it comes to player selection, you are fair. Those you think deserve to play, you put them out there to play. I mean, once you are able to do all these things, I'm sure they will give you the freedom to do. I coached Ebusiando House, Nana Batla, Nana Edu and Co. They never jumped into my work. I mean, sometimes as late as 10, 11 o'clock, I'll be on phone with Nana Batla and Nana Edu just to give them briefing of what's happened. So they were in Accra and they were comfortable. Mr. Ansa will come, whatever he has to do in terms of our accommodation, our feeding, everything. We'll do all these things. So once they get to know that you are on top, I mean, they will give you the liberty to do. I was at Wafa, Mr. Brooking never interfered. I mean, I was there. I worked. I got the results, Elimina Sharks. So here, too, it's the same thing. Nobody's interfering. All that I'm trying to you understand is that show that you are on top of your job and communicate to them your intent. It's all about dialogue and communication. Once you do that and you are honest in your selection, that is it.
So the last two stretches of this interview, would you ever get back into the national team setup? Is that for Ghanaian coaches the ultimate to be coaching a national team?
I mean, that one depends on the authorities. I mean, for me, I'm a coach. I'm doing my job. If the time comes and they think that I merit an appointment to be there, that one is up to them. I have always believed that I don't have to call somebody to tell him that, I want a job. I mean, you have to see what I'm doing. And interestingly, everywhere I've coached, from Elimina Sharks to Dwarfs to Wafa to Kotoko. I mean, now I was there and then the calls came that, are you this and we want you. I remember Wafa, when Mr. Brooking called, he said, Prosper, he just, the white, he just mentioned my name, Prosper, I'm so and so, and I want you to come and coach Wafa.
Are you straight to the point?
Yeah, very straight to the point. So I asked him, you know the Prosper you are talking with? He said, Prosper, lecturer, University of Cape Coast. Then I told him, I know your team, you always go for expatriate coaches. You know what he said? He said he did some consultations and everybody that he asked said that if this time around they are not going for an expatriate coach, I'm the right person for the job. So I was...
High recommendation.
That is it. I was somewhere doing my job. And then, so I got that appointment. Since Wafa came to the Premier League, I think I'm the first local person to coach, even though Adi was the technical director. But then when they were in Division 2, Division 1, I'm sure there were other local, but in the Premier League, I'm the first to coach. And I got a call from the managing director.
So I will return to coaching structures and all that. But once you mention Wafa, where do you stand in this argument about the attention we pay to coaches and whether academies are bringing up players' rights? Are players losing too much of the Ghanaians to academies, or academies are still the best way to go about it?
Structure is there, and the personnel are there within the structure. Because, from the U8, U10, U12 going, Ghana most of the time is U12. You don't hear of the U8 and the U10, the U12. If you have the people who have the knowledge base and they have the competence, coaching at that level is the foundation of the game. And you need to, as a coach, make sure that what you teach out there is what will help them. I mean,
have we done that well as a nation?
I don't think so. Interestingly, hitherto, when we did not have the academies, we were doing well because there were so many vast land all over the place. You just walk and you see kids playing softball and what have you. But now that the academies have come in, I think it's more of trying to get the players to move out of the country instead of taking our time to make sure that we groom them well. If we get the personnel there, we get the structures, and this is what I mean. We have good pitches within this academy. Some of them say they are academies. You go there and the pitches are not good. We have good pitches. We have good accommodation for them. We make sure that they enroll in good schools because it's the mind. The game is the mind. We enroll them in good schools. We make sure that their welfare is catered for. And then ultimately, we make sure that the coaches who are there have the knowledge, they have the experience, and they have the competence to coach at that level. Once we get this sorted, I tell you, the talents are all out there, and we'll be able to, groom them and then transition them either to the Premier League or straight away from the academy abroad.
So this brings me to something else. So last season, a lot of the players who played for Kotoko were moved on by the club. Was this influenced by the form this season, and was your recruitment this season influenced by the form this season?
Absolutely. I think the idea was to make sure that we bring in players from the lower division to groom them, to perform and then get the results. But then unfortunately, we couldn't achieve that purpose for which we brought in these players. We came to realize that it's all about trying to win and win and win and win. And some of these guys, you need to be patient with them. So the pressure alone from our millions of supporters wasn't giving them that mental stability to be able to settle into the Kotoko culture and make sure that they develop. So looking at that, we decided that, okay, fine, why not now look at players who play in the Premier League and did very well, but then are young.
So the criteria is that you are young.
Yes, young. So
reasonable kind of Premier League.
Exactly. So if you look at all those that we brought on board, apart from the foreigners who are playing, they are also playing their leagues in Congo, in Guinea, and what have you. We made sure that standard was there because we realized that the pressure associated with playing for Kotoko was enormous for a young guy to be able to make it. But unfortunately, we had a few of them, Peter, Amidu, Somwa, they were able to stand tall. And I think it's a plus to us that within that group of players, now Somwa is with Girona, Peter Amidu Akwa, we all saw his performance, even scored against Hasselhoff in the Democracy Cup, a young player scoring in a big game like that. I think it's good. We have Fatau Seydou, the third goalkeeper, who is also around. So even though the purpose for which we brought these players in, we couldn't achieve it. But then I think with just these three players, I think it's good for us.
What's the I see you have a thing for foreign players. What's the consideration with that? Why do you feel like a country like Ghana with so many players spread around needs to still be scouting for players from Sudan, from Cameroon, and the rest?
I think Kotoko is a big club and can be compared to the likes of the Ali's, the TP Mazimbes, the Sundowns, and what have you. And we need that international touch around the team, that international ambience around the team. So if you want it, then you need to bring in a few foreign-based players to also play for the team. So basically, that is it. And there's one thing about foreign players. Once they travel and they come, they know they have a reason why they are here. They are not in Ghana to do
Shake up the system.
Exactly. So they look more focused. They look more determined. They are very committed and loyal to why they are in the country and why they are in the club. So if you get a scouting right for a foreign-based player, you see that it becomes worth it, the money.
So we look at the number of players you've brought in, people think that you assembled the best team. Now, how do you deal with the pressure that comes from winning at all costs off the back of that? Because you've spent the money on the players, you've brought in the foreign players, you're housing them, you're traveling in, the expenses is up. How do you then deal with the pressure of no room for no winning?
It's all about planning, making sure that my team will plan very well. Make sure that we look at the quality of the players that we have, their potentials, and what training content and training method will suit them. And that's exactly what we are doing. We believe as a technical staff that if we plan and we go through the sequence and the logic within the plan or behind the plan, we'll be able to get the results. So the pressure, of winning, as I said from the beginning, if you are a Kotoko coach or a Kotoko player, will always be there. But it's about making sure that you plan, have a structure, have a goal, and make sure that your activities, the training content and the training methods that you select fall within what can let you achieve the goal.
There's something else that I wanted to touch with you. You have Frederick Asari, who I met in the Black Stars, brilliant goalkeeper, reasonably good height. Then you brought in Kamara, the other goalkeeper.
Yeah, Kamara. Mohamed Kamara.
Thick tall guy who is from Guinea.
Yes.
All right. So really huge presence. But I think about this a lot for coaches. How do you balance the need for competition, but also at this point when Frederick has broken into the national team, your own commitment to him to ensure that you give him all the support to be able to rise through, largely by playing? Is that competition, or your first turn foremost is to get Kotoko what Kotoko needs?
I think that the most important thing is to make sure that these two goalkeepers do not lose their focus. They still keep their self-confidence, that they are capable and at any point in time can be selected by the coaching staff to be in the goal. So as you said, Asari is a good goalkeeper. Kamara is also a very good goalkeeper. What we have to do now is to make sure that we engage them meaningfully. We engage them at the right moment, with the right information to let them understand why one is in pool and the other one is not in pool. Once we are able to dialogue with them meaningfully, I'm sure, they will be at ease with each other, they will be at ease with us, and then they will all stay focused and make sure that.
So you brought chosen a first choice yet?
At the moment, if you look at the competition that we have, Kamara is good, Asari is also good. But then what I told my colleagues is that why not look at the dynamics of the game, the demands of the upcoming game, and probably select one to be in pool. If you look at the way Kamara kept at Narerogo against Karela, it was fantastic. Asari just came from the national team, doing well. So as a coach,
coaches like choices and taste.
The job is all about taking decisions, and sometimes very sensitive, delicate decisions. And that's what makes the Mourinhos and the Ancelottis top-notch coaches. If you're able to get it right, you get the results, and it moves you from that realm to the next realm.
And you have no fear of making
No. As for me, no. As for me, I'm not afraid of making decisions, because once I believe that what I'm doing is of clear conscience. I mean, sometimes you see that from a popular point of view, this is what they want. From you, the coach, and what is happening at training, and per the demands of the upcoming game, you think that it should be the other way around. So if we were to be in Europe, this is easy, because we'll do some presser and try
versus rare thing, eh?
Exactly. We do some presser to make sure that we explain some of these things. The pressman will come, ask questions, and then we'll answer some of these things. And I think the FA has started this. So I'm sure moving forward, it wouldn't be any difficult thing for us as coaches.
That's right. Coach, one of the things I want you to do, and maybe the guys will just follow up with us, I want you to, you spoke about your coaching philosophy and other things a lot. So I was hoping that you will walk me through. So let's say this is your typical Kotoko team.
Yeah, this is red, so this should be Kotoko.
Yes. So that it fits in well.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy? Do you put 3 at the back? Do you put invented fullbacks here? Do you pack 3 people in midfield on the right, and then someone sits here? And then do you put an attacker here, or you sort of play them? What do you look for? Let me make sure that this is exactly. What do you look for? So typically, set us up your Kotoko team with everybody. So we're going to do like a Scrabble where you put on. So you will set us up for you.
Okay.
If you pick the team, set us up for how you will set up your team in a typical game.
Okay. So typically, I have my goalkeeper here. I have my right back here. I have my left back here.
Do you still play the traditional right-left back role in the way it's played traditionally?
Exactly. I still do that.
What's the thinking behind that?
I think that it gives me a lot of stability at the back. It gives me a lot of stability. There wouldn't be more spaces to be covered. But then I also believe that I can also play the 3 back. So if you look at last season, I think get from the middle of the first round to the end of the first round, I was playing a 3-5-2 structure system, and it actually worked. And
do you like your fullbacks to attack a lot?
Yes,
I like the most advanced position that you want.
I want them to be high up here.
Right.
So I have my left center back, the right center back. I have my pivot 1, which you normally call the DM.
Coaching terms are pivot.
Pivot 1 here.
So this is what we used to call in the late 90s an anchor.
An anchor.
Number 6.
Number 6.
In the typical Ghana.
Exactly. Then I have my pivot 2 here, which is the number 8.
So I have the one with the capacity to
Exactly. I have my pivot 3 here. I have my right wing striker here. I have my left wing striker here. I have my center forward here. And then I have my
so your 2 pivots are here.
Yeah, the 2 pivots are here.
Yeah.
I have this. Yeah, sometimes it goes this way.
Yeah.
This is the structure. Yeah, this is the structure.
What's your shape when you're defending, when you don't have the ball?
When I'm defending,
I
make sure I always have almost about 5 of them. So the right wing striker will come. He will also come in here, which is the pivot 2 will drop down. And then that's if the ball is somewhere here.
Yeah.
The pivot 1 is already there. He's here.
So you require your advanced attacking midfielders and your wingers to play a significant role defensively.
Exactly. You can't be in my team and you will not defend.
Right.
Yes. We all attack, we all defend.
Some of the most creative players don't like it, don't you?
Exactly. But then it's all about communication. Sometimes I use an analogy in life that you are in your compound and then somebody enters your compound and picks something valuable and is running away with that thing. What would you do?
You chase after them.
Chase. So the ball is, to me, right from the blast of the whistle, I believe that the ball is the property of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Right. So we should always have the ball. So if we don't have the ball, we must chase the opponent and get the ball up from them and make sure that we keep possession, we create the chances and then score. So basically, I will always have a 4 at the back, 5 in the middle, and probably leave 1 here. Sometimes they all come in depending on where the ball is. So when the ball, when the ball is in the half of our half, yeah, this is the half of the half.
Yeah.
So if the opponents are in here, in here, like this.
Yeah.
If the opponents are in here, they have the ball here. This one is here. Sorry, this one is here. Yeah, this one is here, has the ball. This one is, let's see, here. And then this one is, let's see, here.
This is a team that's overloading.
Yes. So you make sure that everyone, I always tell them, I use a what do you call it? I use a football language, and I've broken it down to the understanding. Always have the player in view, in perspective. Ball,
you must see the player.
Yes, ball, opponent, teammate. Can you see the opponent with the ball? Yes. Can you see the opponent without the ball? Yes. Can you see your teammate who is also defending? Yes. Because the game is all about decisions. So ball, opponent, teammate. So in this way, if they are to come into the half of our half this way, if they are to come into the half of the half is where you divide one half into two. So they are in the half of our half. This is how I want it. Everybody would have to come. You have to come. If they transition into the middle of the park, let's say the ball is somewhere in the middle of the park here. And have it somewhere here in the middle of the park here. If we have the ball in the middle of the park here, I want to have.
So basically, you like your center backs and your full backs keeping a high line.
Exactly.
Are you not afraid of they being cut off for pace and the rest?
Yeah, it is there. It is there.
You're not afraid of becoming a Tottenham where the ball is played for a lack of pace, you get done completely.
Yeah, it's dangerous though. But then what happens is that the goalkeeper must play a high line.
So you like a goalkeeper?
Yes, the feet. You must play a high line, and then we make sure that where the ball is, we glide and shift towards where the ball is. So when the ball is here, and let's say this opponent is here, this opponent is here, we glide and shifting. We stay very compact. Yeah, so he's here. So leave him. Even if he switches play, here, this one can. Exactly. If he switches play here, this one will go. They keep coming.
So basically, a lot of the shape is influenced, of course, naturally.
Exactly.
What's your typical attacking setup?
Yeah, I make sure that I have them, most of them. If it's the left back or the right, yeah. So let's assume the ball is here.
Yeah, and this one like the goal.
Yes.
The defenders.
Yes. Yeah.
So you want to pack as many people as possible.
Yes. Normally, I want at least 4 to be in attack. At least means 4 or more. At least 4 means 4 or more. So he has the ball here. Let's say this is Peter. He has the ball here. So this can be Inchi. This can be Amo. This can be, let's say, Saka Dauda. This can be Peter here. So we have Inchi. We have Amoa here. So, and then you have somebody like Tinedu here or Chi here. So he becomes the anchor here. So when
attacking midfielders are
everybody,
and I see your wing backs.
Yes, exactly. Because when he has the ball, what I've been telling them is that when he has the ball here, the first thing that should come to mind is, can I score? Yes, then score. Can I score? No. Can I cross? Yes, then cross.
So it's all about decision making.
It's all about, okay, can I cross? Yes, then you cross. Can I cross? No. Then can I dribble? Yes, I dribble. Can I pass, which is a cross pass? Every cross is a pass. So we call it cross pass. Technically, that is how it is. It's a cross pass. So it's either you can score, you can cross, you can dribble, you can pass. So normally, you see, and the one of the things, one of the basic things in open play is that you can score when you are more than the opponent in their half. Overload, the principle of overload.
understand.
Yeah.
I keep hearing people say it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't understand.
The overload means you are more than the opponent. So let me create a scene here. This is this, this is this, and this is this. And let's see, with all due respect, this player is a lazy player. So he didn't come. Yeah. So now look at it here. So you see,
You've completely
this one is coming here. So 1, 2, 3. But 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have what we call plus one. This is an extra player. You will say extra player, but technically we say the plus one.
Right.
So this is a plus one, the free player. So what it means is that he can pass the ball to this guy who can now carry it in and bend the ball. So any time you want to have control over possession, wherever the ball is, you must make sure that you are more than the opponent at where the ball is.
Technically, how do you ensure that without leaving yourself susceptible to say, let's say this is a Vandeve,
okay,
making this ball, has got a quality pass on him.
Yes.
Passing this ball here or here, or releasing this ball for this guy, maybe a walker, who bumps down the line. Basically, how do you do all this without leaving yourself susceptible to counter-attack, which has become so key?
Yeah. It's all about creating passing lanes. So when you create the lanes, so for instance, you can create, do we have the marker here?
No, we don't. I think we came properly, completely prepared. Melichi, give it to me. Melichi is our main man. Thank you, coach.
Yeah, it's all about creating passing lanes. Once the passing lanes are created, once these lanes, oh, sorry, the drawing is bad. Let me see. Yeah. Once these lanes are created, players will know when to move, where to move, and how to move. When to move, how to move, and where to move to. So like the situation that you spoke about. So for instance, this player here, this one, you see, he's in this lane. So this player here will have to be in this lane. Yes. So what happens is that once they know the lanes within which that they have to move into, at any point in time, you will see that you find players positioned in those lanes. And once you do that often and often and often, it becomes part of them, and they will be able to do it.
So persistent training is that.
Persistent training.
Thank you, coach. We've had a great idea into the way you think and everything. I know we can still stand here and just basically go through this. So I'm going to let you build for me what you consider your ultimate Ghana Premier League forward. So I will give you attributes and you give me a player who fits into that.
Okay.
Yep. Speed.
Is it current, old?
Anyone.
Wow. I think what's the name? Dramani. He was at the 2006.
Dramani.
Yes. He has a lot of speed.
Okay.
Speed.
So that works for you.
Yes.
Finishing.
Asamoah.
Movement.
Abedi Pele.
What was it about Abedi Pele's movement?
He was all over the place. Anywhere the ball was, he wanted to play. That's Pele for you. He was always hungry, wanted to see the ball. He had that potential, that ability to take on players one-on-one, ability to pass, ability to dribble, ability to score. So, you see, ball control. I think still Pele will be there.
Heading ability,
Tony Yeboah.
Yeah. So monster.
Yes. Absolute monster.
Yes. Unbelievable. Yes. I always tell these kids that those of us who are lucky to see Tony Yeboah, we still see him when we are in our strength on the ball.
I think I'll go for Prince Opokopoli.
I never take the ball off him.
Yes, he had a lot of strength. You see, I was watching football then. I've surprised you.
No, I see that you were proper. So you're clearly a very proper Senegal 92, Tunisia 94, South Africa 96 kind of person. This suggests me you are in the same age range.
Absolutely.
Passing.
passing, I'll go for Daniel Ado.
Didn't play a lot of senior level, though.
Yes.
But a little he did that.
Yes. He was a good passer of the ball. Daniel Ado, Abladi Kuma, they were good passers of the ball.
Right. And leadership.
Leadership. Pele.
You didn't mention anyone from the 2006 generation apart from speed. No, Stephen Appiah.
Yeah, Stephen Appiah. Good. Leadership. Stephen Appiah, Abedi Pele. Stephen brought the team together.
Yeah.
I mean, seemed like Pele carried the team on. You know, if you are a leader, you need to make sure that you have the team on your shoulders.
The other thing is some of the things I would be asking everybody. I'll come to you, so maybe you need to start thinking of this. You will name for me the best Ghana Premier League sides. But if you don't want to, because you coach Kotoko now, I can perfectly understand. I understand the principle of that. But who's the best player that you ever coached?
The best player I've ever coached.
It's a tough one.
No, I will go for Mbella. Yeah, technically good. As Mbella is a killer. I mean, he's a killer in front of goal. Technically good. He knows where the pockets of spaces are. He knows when to apply the right technique at the right time. I still remember the goal he scored against Mediama when we went to Takwa, and then when the same goal he scored against Wafa when we went to Sogakope, he rounded the goal. When I was screaming he should pass the ball into the net because I saw it was a combination play, and I expected him to play the ball. He just took the ball, kept his calm, rounded the goal.
Calmness personified in front of him.
I'm telling you.
What's the toughest Ghana Premier League venue you've traveled to?
Ahinkro.
Why? What makes it tough?
Everything about the place makes the game difficult there. I mean, they are so passionate about their team. You know, it's a traditional team. It's an indigenous team. They have a lot of followers, and the perception that they are also the best in the country. So when they go there, they believe that we are playing home, and that once we are playing home, we have the personnel, we have the coaching staff, we have everything, and we must win. They have we must win mentality at Doma. So, I mean, the build up to the game tells you clearly that you are not at the safest of places.
Your favorite stadium apart from
Linkley.
Beautiful.
Smooth.
You had a lot of success.
Yeah. And if we have to include the artificial, then I'll say Sogakope, Wafa. Yeah. I've you say I have what? The Linkley. Yeah, sure.
Who is the toughest coach that you faced?
The toughest coach I faced in my career. Can I let's see.
Too many. Remember. Which also is a sign that you have absolute confidence in yourself. Now, the coach who's influenced you the most?
Dadula. I love him. I like the way he does his things. He pays particular attention to fine details. The smallest of details that others will ignore. That is what he pays attention to, and that is what is making his game unique.
What was your nickname when you was younger?
Me? Van Basten. Marco Van Basten. Yes.
I scored that 88 goal.
But I scored some good goals. I played football for some time. I was a marksman, very technical. I had speed because I was a sprinter. That's why I like technically gifted players. I like the Dutch type of number 9, the Kluivert, the Van Bastens, and what that.